Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
राज, बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े-बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी-छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं।
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था। और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा।
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है, Unocoin के साथ।
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं। Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
Guys, we really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
Unocoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the Unocoin app.
Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin,
Bitcoin.
Get a systematic buying plan from the Unocoin app to get your Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
Welcome everyone to another one of Unocoin's Ask Me Anything sessions. I'm your host Shambhavi Sonia, and honestly, I am just so excited today to introduce our special guest, Tarusha Mittal, CEO and co-founder of Dapps and Unifarm. Tarusha is a prominent figure in the cryptocurrency industry with extensive experience in the blockchain technology and investment strategies. So today, my dear friends, we will be focusing on the topic of a tale of two genders exploring differences in investment patterns in crypto. So this is one area that has received increasing attention in the recent years as the world of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology continues to evolve. And during our session today, Tarusha will share her insightful experience and expertise on the subject, covering topics such as gender gap in crypto investments, factors that influence investment decisions, and strategies for bridging the gap and increasing diversity in the industry. So without any further ado, let's get started. Please feel free to ask any questions that you might have on the topic, and Tarusha will do her best to provide her valuable and informative answers to you all. So, hi Tarusha, how are you doing today?
Hi, Shambhavi. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited to take this conversation forward. Very relevant.
Honestly, so are we because, of course, it's always, crypto is something so extensive. It's like you cannot have just enough information on it, and it's always a good thing to have these discussions and to, inform people around these important topics, especially. So I
Absolutely.
think,
It keeps
yeah,
changing, right? It's very dynamic, so there is something new to learn every day.
true
You know,
that.
even though I've been around in this space for some time, I learn every day as well. So yeah.
I think it's really interesting how things grow so fast. I think looking at cryptocurrency itself and the people who get into it, the kind of growth in everything, your intellect, your knowledge about the subject, and everything, it's just a very fast paced and everything. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have started getting a lot of comments already. We have Yubong Francis, and he's saying good morning. Perhaps we are in a different time zone.
Time zone.
So, hi,
I'm
Yubong.
hoping that you guys are having top of the morning wherever you guys are in whichever
Yeah.
time. And yeah, I can see the comments coming in. I'm very excited that people are so involved, and this is being live streamed, right? So it's wonderful to see how excited people are to take listen to us talk about gender disparity and the future of crypto.
I totally agree. And Sachin, I think you're facing some issues with the voice. I think they're all pretty much audible to everyone. Guys, please just let us know in the comment section if we are totally audible to you all. If it is just the problem with Sachin, then Sachin, you can quickly reload your page. Then there is Sri Gopal Saha, and I think he also commented on our post saying that he just can't wait to interact with the audience for today. So he's also asking you, hi Tarusha ma'am, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for asking, and I can't wait to interact with all of you as well. Very excited.
True that. Even yeah. So we are pretty much audible to everyone, like it seems. So it's just a problem with Sachin. Sachin, please try reloading your page if you can hear me, or someone please just type it in the comment section for him that he can reload the page. Now, finally, moving forward with the session, Tarusha, it's very exciting for me too because even I've not been in the industry for long. It's been what, like 6 months since I joined the entire crypto community and I started learning about things. It's very interesting for me to know the stories, like
Right.
how people got into this space and how it evolved them and how it evolved with them practically because, yeah, it's in a very, like in a baby stage right now.
Yeah.
So, just tell us something about your story, where you started, how you got into crypto, what was so exciting about it, and everything.
Sure. So, I've been a deep tech entrepreneur for now 12, 13 years. My journey started with a data center startup, and Mohit and I, who's my co-founder, we co-founded a data center startup called Cloud Reno, and right in Delhi, we built our own data center. We made it break even. We were doing well, but at that point, basically Google entered the market and AWS entered the market, and they started giving out these credits, right? So our platform was very similar. You could create like your own droplet basically on it was a self-service platform. So we realized that we don't have such deep topics, deep pockets, and we couldn't really give out credit. So that is when we started exploring at other things, and that is the point where I had actually come across crypto and the Bitcoin white paper, and we had all of this extra, not so extra because some of it was in use, but we basically bought some extra hardware and utilized it for mining. And we mined Monero and Zcash at some later point, and then Ethereum as well. This is like early days. This is 2012 and 2012, 2013 when you started doing this. Because the crypto bug had already kind of bit us, so we thought that okay, let's co-found something that is in the space, and we co-founded one of the first Ethereum exchanges of India, which was called Ethics. So that was purely for Ethereum initially, but then there was the RBI order that kind of came in that kicked
That's
us in the
totally,
gut.
yeah.
Yeah, so almost overnight, even though Ethics was doing really well and we had a lot of users and good GMVs, but we had not really raised money. There were two options then, because the RBI order basically forbade banks to provide their services to corporate entities dealing with crypto. And considering we were not a P2P exchange, we just had two options. Either, we could move abroad, or we had to, shut the operations.
Yeah.
So with a very, very heavy heart, we had to start the process of winding down ethics. And post that, we started working on Oropocket. Oropocket had a blockchain arm as well that did not really do very well. Oropocket is basically a fintech platform that is doing splendidly well. You can buy gold and silver on the platform. You can get it delivered, pretty much like a Paytm Gold. But then, we wanted, because we were bit by the blockchain and crypto bug, we wanted to add a blockchain element there as well. So we tried putting assets on blockchain, like real world assets on blockchain. And that was called Open DeFi. But that, because of several reasons and mostly policy related reasons, because in every jurisdiction you had to get like a custodian and an insurer and a certain licenses for digital assets, it did not scale. That is when we kept Oropocket as is, and it's still a platform where you guys can go and purchase. Now we have actually launched a new feature on it, so if you're buying gold or silver, you get Bitcoin cashback on Oropocket. So without even trying, you're diversifying your portfolio. But post that, basically we founded Unifarm. Unifarm was is a group farming and staking protocol. In like the 12 months, initially, the first 12 months, we closed nearly 180 partnerships with, DeFi and Web3 platforms. These were paid partners who were paying us to use the platform. Unifarm was first of its kind to provide native token staking as well as liquidity staking, because it was doing so in groups. So anybody could become a part of a farm and just take one token and get many tokens in return, rather than just a 1:1 ratio. So Unifarm is now moving towards a SaaS model. And as the bear market kind of hit, we realized that we need to create an ecosystem, perhaps, where there are so many blockchains, there are so many products, they need to converge somewhere. And that is why we started building Dapps. So Dapps is basically a Web3 app store. So we are trying to make adoption, basically we are trying to address the problem of adoption. I think when we closed all of these partnerships with 180 plus partners in Unifarm, we realized that everybody has the same problem. They have a platform, but they don't have users. The adoption is a huge challenge in Web3 because of various things. A, because inherently the technology is slow. B, because the onboarding is so difficult, and it's not for everybody, right? Anybody who's not in the space, they will not feel comfortable just signing up on a Web3 application. So we wanted to change that, and that is what we are doing with Dapps. We are trying to provide a seamless experience with the end user, that you can actually use applications that are built on blockchain without even realizing that they are built on blockchain. We take care of the interoperability and all of that initial 9-10 step process which is there for onboarding. We are cutting that and giving users a seamless experience. On the other hand, with Dapps, because we want more developers to build in Web3, because developers in Web3 are at a distinct disadvantage when it comes to their Web2 counterparts, because there are certain tools that are just not available to them. Something as simple as, say, a Facebook retargeting is not available to them because all you have is a wallet address. So we are trying to solve that as well by trying to provide the relevant requisite tools to developers so that they can scale and build their application in Web3 without having to worry about, okay, I need to launch a token, or okay, how do I go about doing retargeting or acquiring more users? So we are adding layers of identity, which includes DIDs and domains, communication, which means that developers can create apps and send notifications to their end user without compromising on the decentralized nature or privacy of the user. Then there is the interoperability layer. So all of these are basically tools that will help the developer in creating absolutely brilliant apps on blockchain, and the user will get like a seamless experience on Dapps. And the beauty of this entire thing is that it's actually at a protocol level, so it's chain agnostic. Anybody building on any blockchain can utilize the tools that are there on Dapps to get their application and bring it to scale. Also, I have a podcast in the blockchain space called Living on Blockchain.
That's really great.
One more thing. Yeah, so that is pretty much a little about my journey. Yeah.
I think that's really great, because when we look at the whole crypto and the Web3 space, we see so many types of innovation. Like, this is something very new that I've just heard of. By the way, about the crypto regulations and everything, that I think the restriction on the banks that came in, if I recall it correctly, 2017.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but Unocoin was the one to fight this case against
Yes,
RBI in the Supreme Court. And yeah,
yes.
this whole thing just came back live in 2020. And even now we celebrate that day because it was like a huge win of human rights itself. Because, of
Mm.
course, yeah, that's a human right to choose our investments and everything.
Right. You choose what to do with your money, right? Like,
Yeah,
nobody should dictate
exactly.
it.
So it
Yeah.
was pretty much interesting at that point, and even now, as we see, it's very thrilling how the Web3 is developing. And given that the Indian market has so much of potential for any new thing, and talking about that, Tarusha, we have always seen as Indian women, we have always seen a sort of disparity. Okay, we are getting a lot of questions from Sachin. We'll quickly finish this one up, and then we'll jump on to his questions. So as Indian women, we see a lot of disparity in opportunities that we get for maybe education at, if we look at certain areas, certain places,
Mm.
if we look at job opportunities, if we look at career opportunities, there's a lot of disparity, and the same as we see in the crypto space as well. So what do you think about this crypto gender gap when it comes to the industry?
I think it'll be foolish for me to say that it doesn't exist, right? It's there for everybody to see. It's been there since I joined crypto, or even when I joined deep tech. I think in technology in general, there is a huge gender gap. Of you attend an event, it's almost all boys and all men, and there are literally very few females there who are running around. So that is very sad, I feel, because I think that we are not utilizing perhaps the human capital that is available to us. But having said that, I think it's a more systemic problem, because women and girls in India at a very early stage, during their schooling, they are discouraged from perhaps looking at STEM as an option. They are asked to push themselves into humanities. But with this, I would actually like to add a interesting anecdote. I was actually a humanities student as well.
Oh, that's great.
And since I've started my career, I've only co-founded tech ventures. So I think that you can't limit yourself with the degree that you have. That is important as well, as long as you're open to learning. And now today, I code, I design, I do everything. But it's been a journey, and I was open to learning. If you're open to learning, then I think then the world's your oyster. But having said that, coming back to the question, I do think that women are there's a huge gender gap, and it's a systemic change that will have to be brought in via pushing girls into STEM, and perhaps encouraging them to remain in STEM and pursue science and math. And also perhaps at, like, if beyond the school and college level, then we need to perhaps create the right kind of opportunities for women, be it exclusive cohorts to encourage them to build in Web3 or to build in tech space, or capital opportunities that are very exclusive to women, perhaps, because we have seen, all of us have seen those sad stats where women founders only take away like 2% of all the VC money deployed. Like that was the report in the height of the bull market. So that those are sad numbers. We need to change the narrative itself. There need to be more women like you, like me, who are going out and talking about how this is possible, and creating representation so that more women feel encouraged to get into this space. I do feel that women by nature are very different, and they have like a lot of self-doubt. They second guess themselves. I do think that you need to remember what, this is a good example. I'm paraphrasing, but Michelle Obama had at some point said that she was asked, how do you put your point across when you enter all of these rooms with these strong males around the table? And she said, I realized very quickly that most of them are winging it too. And so it's might as well that if I know something, she's like studied from Ivy league colleges, right? And if she feels the need that, okay, even I used to feel diffident, but I realized very quickly that everybody's on the same path, everybody's trying to wing it, or they are trying to learn. There is, there'll be so many detractors already that'll be there in your path. Why do you need to be your own detractor? Is something that I have not understood. I think there is nothing that you cannot do. And if anybody tells you that, okay, no, you didn't take math or computer and you can't do this, give them my example. I have only worked in tech in all of these 12, 13 years. I think nothing is impossible. Do not push yourself back by being different in any way. I think the gap will only go when we change the narrative at the very, as a household level, that, encouraging females, encourage your mother to do and pursue her dreams. Just because she couldn't at some point doesn't mean she doesn't need to now, when she has well grown children. So just those small changes, I think they have a cascading effect. And all of us need to work towards that to actually ease the gender disparity. And I'm not talking about like toxic equality, like obviously, you hire based on skills, but let's try to be a little, let's have an open mind. And I don't feel that the onus is so much on the companies hiring women or not hiring women. I think it's on the women themselves to actually really put themselves out there, because I feel that women don't do that enough.
Even I would agree to that, because somehow, talking to my friends and all, when I exactly like present the concept of crypto in front of them, it's like for them it's like a lot of technicality, and it's a lot of complexity for them, and somehow I feel that women just don't want to get into complex stuff themselves, because they're like you said, they second out themselves a lot. So that is, I think, one of the reasons.
I do.
So we'll continue. We'll continue on this particular topic, but I think Sachin is having a lot of questions. We'll quickly take his questions.
Sure.
So his first question is: can we get airdrop Unifarm, and which blockchain to use Unifarm on? So he's asking for an airdrop.
Okay, so Unifarm is not going to be doing any airdrops anytime soon, but I will let you in on a secret. Ufarm is going to be like a very integral part of Dapps validator nodes. So, I will advise you to look at it as an investment if you are looking to invest in Unifarm. And Ufarm token is available on several, centralized and decentralized exchanges. Do your own research, but the roadmap in front of us is very, very clear. Unifarm as a platform is going to become a standalone application on Dapps. It's going to turn into a SaaS model where anybody can go and create their own farm for staking and farming. And Unifarm as a token would not just be supporting Unifarm, the platform, but also be supporting the Dapps token, because we're not launching a token right now for Dapps. And it will play a very integral part in the validator nodes that will be deployed for Dapps.
Okay. Next question from Sachin is: Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. What do we see next in the future?
I don't know. I have stopped trying to predict technology trends and markets. I think Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. And it's just, I think right now AI is all a rage, that everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. So it's, it's every day is new. Just keep an open mind, I think. That is what is most important.
I think true, and Web3 itself is like started to gain its space in the common world industry, and people are starting to get to know about the whole Web3 thing. What is Web3? What is happening in Web3? So I think it's gonna be like a long journey for Web3 alone. And if we talk about future, then maybe we are talking about the time after. I think all of us would be dead.
It seems like there is quite a journey ahead, but yeah, the things kind of move at a really fast pace in this area. So I don't know what lies ahead. I don't know, but I do believe that it's all good things, because I think Web3 is going to become very mainstream, and so I'm very, very bullish. Markets are always cyclical, so just keep that in mind. Like in any sector, like equity, crypto, anywhere. It's just in crypto the cycles are shorter, but markets are cyclical everywhere, and don't let one bad market cycle get you off Web3, because you owe it to yourself to learn Web3, because that's the future.
I think 100% I would have to agree with you on that, because when I came into the crypto industry, apparently there was obviously the bearish market going on. Then I was like, okay, hearing all sorts of things from all sorts of people about how it's not good and how it's just gonna, vanish one day, and maybe that would be in the next few months. I was like, okay, fine, let's just see. And now here we are, I think, after 6 months, and we see how things are doing great. And I think today is a really great day for crypto. Looking at the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade, Ethereum almost touched $2,000.
Right.
And then, of course, Twitter partnered with eToro and provide, now it's like going to provide crypto and stock trading services for the users. So I think it's never ending, and it's unstoppable practically.
It
And
actually is that. It's actually unstoppable. Nobody's going to be able to stop this technology. Like,
yeah.
there are people coming in and saying that, okay, this ban, that ban. It doesn't work like that. That is the beauty of the decentralized technology. That is why we are also gung-ho about it.
True. So, guys, if you have any more questions, just drop in the comment section and I'll convey to Tarusha for you. Now, moving on with my question, another one of my questions. Tarusha, do you really think that, of course, every space needs women, because nothing can really, looking at the history and everything, no industry as such has ever survived without a woman in it. So do you think that, like, how would you think that having more women in the industry is going to, impact it positively?
See, as I said, I think you can't really succeed. This is where I'd like to perhaps quote Kunal Shah. He had said that you can't succeed as any industry if you're not utilizing half of the human capital that is available to you. So all of these girls and women, it's not just about beti padhao, right? Matlab, उसे आगे भी तो लेके जाओ, like let her execute on those degrees, that study that she has done. So I feel very strongly about this. I think we will do ourselves disservice if we do not include enough women in the space, if we are not giving them a safe space to create and build. And to that effect, I am also involved with a non-profit DAO called Dia DAO, which tries to invest in women-led ventures and gives them ecosystem support. And I think those kind of initiatives are important because we can never have enough of them. There are already people have like a huge problem, and they'll go like, why are there no DAOs funding men startups? And I'm like, everywhere else it's just that, like, look at the statistics. So we need to do something special here because we are trying to make a change. And once we reach a certain point where this is perhaps an extra special effort is not required, then we can talk about equality. I think that it is very important at least to get people on the level playing field. Having said that, again, it's not that you compromise in any way when you are hiring or when you are trying to get into the space. But I do feel that with the relevant push, I think the sector can really do so much better. Just think that there is half the human capital which is not being utilized still.
And I think it's really a big deal when we, kind of happen to ignore such factors, and we're just all about, okay, how women are just meant to be in the households and everything. And I just pity people who think like that, honestly. So, do you think that crypto could be a great tool to enforce women empowerment at a larger scale in India?
Absolutely. I think, see, being at home and being a homemaker, I think that's a full-time job. But women in our society are, it's because there are certain gendered roles, and there shouldn't be any gendered roles, but that is where we should start the conversation. But the level of discourse is so low, and there's so much conditioning there that there are certain gendered roles that are there. So women are expected to do one full-time job of running a household, and another perhaps pick up another full-time job when they do want to do something professionally. So having said that, I do think that a lot of women at times are stuck in their gendered roles because they don't have the freedom. Their financial freedom is not in their hands. They don't have financial independence. They have big dreams, but they cannot do anything about it. And crypto obviously changes that because until not very long ago, until just a few decades back, I'm not talking about India, but like in first world countries, even like USA, women weren't even allowed to sign or have in their own bank account. So when you don't have that kind of financial freedom, then you cannot really think about building something. For that particular mindset to come in, you need to have the peace of mind that comes with financial freedom. And I think crypto does that. Crypto by itself and Web3 are very inclusive in nature. The idea is that anybody from anywhere has a smartphone, has access to internet, can be a part of this revolution, can be a part of this new creator economy, can be a part of this new parallel financial system that we are trying to build. I think crypto Web3 would have a huge role to play when it comes to women and women addressing their dreams and becoming a bigger part of this particular revolution that we are all running. So I do think crypto will play a huge role in the coming years.
I think money plays a very important role in making you feel confident about doing something or being there, or things like that you just need to do. And without money, because you are dependent on your father, on your brother, on your husband, or maybe another male in your family, just a lot of self doubt that you're gonna have, because it's not your money that you are taking for doing something. And if I talk about that, I don't know how many people can relate to me right now, but it's a great deal that you have financial freedom of your own. So financial independence and freedom is something that we all look up to as the new younger generation. And still I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of girls, a lot of people who are still we like a lot of people still don't know this concept, and they refuse to accept the concept as a whole. And they really need
Absolutely.
to understand this whole thing. Why is it important for them at all? So we'll quickly take Sachin's another question. Sachin is asking, can we see crypto as an investment, or is it good for developers?
No, I think you owe it to yourself to diversify your asset portfolio. Basically, you are investing in mutual funds, you're investing in gold, you're investing in real estate. There are different asset classes that you invest in. You try to not put all your eggs, aka your money, in one basket. So you must diversify. But having said that, I think it's always good to do your own research. None of what we are saying here is obviously financial advice, because I think only individuals can discuss and decide, within their family, by themselves, what their risk appetite is. So I definitely see it as an investment opportunity. But obviously, like with any other asset classes, like you've heard with mutual funds also, right? There's an ad, but there is a very quick disclaimer that comes in that this money is subject to
Subject
market
to
risk. So with
market.
crypto, it's the same thing, right? It's very similar, that it's subject to market risk. So do your own research and then go ahead and invest. But yes, I think you do owe it to yourself to diversify your portfolio a little bit. With all of these banks, etc., failing, I think it's just good. It makes good sense to beat inflation and all.
I think, yeah, even with the whole Silicon Valley bank collapse, my first vision was that, okay, is this the beginning?
Yeah.
Because
Right. Yeah.
that was a sort of big thing for everyone who actually has been believing in Bitcoin and crypto for so long. They're like, oh, okay, now it just happened.
Yeah.
It was always better that we had our money stored in a different financial system. But what I feel personally is that you should always have a balance, since it's something really new. You cannot always, maybe as a beginner, because I have a beginner's perspective, obviously. So as a
Hmm.
beginner, I think it's always better to keep a balance between all sorts of financial kind of industries you're taking an exposure to, be that crypto, be that mutual
Absolutely.
funds, be that any sort of stock market or anything. It's always
There should be balance between what is risky or what you consider risky and what is considered safe. Like, so you'll have some FD, you'll have some RD, you'll also like perhaps have some money in your bank account. But see, nobody really created wealth by just leaving their money in the bank account. Just keep that in
yeah,
mind. If you want your money to work for you, or to actually compound your money in any way, you will have to make an investment. So our ancestors also invested in gold very heavily, right, and in land, because those are asset classes that they understood, or what was easily available to them. Right now there are so many other asset classes that are available to you, stuff like even wine, whiskey, and whatnot. So you owe it to yourself to explore that, to be able to create wealth, because ultimately I don't like people who talk about, who say that, okay, money is not important and all of that, because I don't like those romanticized ideas. I think, you can. I think Shah Rukh Khan had said this at some point. He said that you first become rich and then you become a philosopher. So get that out of the way. Like you need to have that financial freedom, and that kind of mindset, that peace that money brings would put you in a better headspace to tackle your dreams, or to deal with other problems. Money will not solve all your problems, but it'll put you at least in a better headspace, and that becomes stop being like perhaps the biggest worry that you have.
true that, 100%. So here we have Sunil Patel, who's saying hello to you, of course. And we have a lot of people actually who are saying hello, hi. So, hi to everyone once again. We're sorry if we could not take your comments because there are a lot of them. So, yeah, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. So, Tarusha, when we talk about stepping into crypto for women, especially, because of course, this is something financial literacy. If we talk about, our country has even less than 30% of population that is exposed to financial literacy, the concept of financial literacy, basically. And if we talk about women, that would be even a lesser percentage than that. So,
Yeah.
as a beginner, what would you suggest for a woman to do? Like, what would be the first steps that you would suggest to step into crypto?
Okay. For stepping into crypto, okay, so for financial literacy, first, let me address that. I think financial literacy should be taught in schools. I think just financial,
I agree.
the financial 101 should be something that everybody should be teaching in school, but they don't do that. And it's very unfortunate that we don't really know how to deal with very practical matters, even though, we become an adult almost when we are leaving school. So that is one. But having said that, because schools will almost always never teach you everything, it's the practical knowledge. So, you need to arm yourself with knowledge. And I think for financial literacy and to make better financial decisions, you need to be aware. And be aware of what you're earning, be aware of what you're spending. That is very basic. Like budgeting 101 should be there at least at the back of your mind. Even if you don't have like a huge book where you're budgeting, you should be aware, because I think that some people, what happens is, I think that is very natural. When you start earning and there is a certain income coming in and you don't have anybody asking you, then you end up spending a lot. You're maxing out credit cards and whatnot. So it's this basic stuff needs to be there in your head. Credit card debt, by the way, is the worst kind of debt. So stay away from them unless there is an emergency. But having said that, I think that if you are trying to get into a good headspace, I think Richest Man in Babylon is a very good book. It talks about, one of the key things that I remember it talking about was that you need to be investing, even if you are investing or saving a small part of the money that you are getting. And I think Warren Buffett says that too. If you are earning 100, keep away what you're saving, say 30, and then from that 70 make your expenses, rather than the other way around. That what happens is we make our expenses and then we are saving what is left.
Yes.
Which is just it's human, but it's probably not the right way to do it. So that is very basic. And if you're trying to get into Web3, I think no better place to get into Web3 than when you can check out Andreas Antonopoulos' YouTube videos and Internet of Money, Volume 1, 2, 3. They are really good. If you are into reading, pick up the book. If you're not into reading and if you're just watching YouTube and videos, then I would really, really recommend that you go on his channel and check out those videos. They're very basic and they are very jargon-free. So, it'll give you a very good idea about what Web3 is actually about. It'll make you fall in love with the technology a little bit more if you're not already. And it'll make you feel passionate about the Web3 space and the promise that it holds.
I think great suggestion. So, guys, if you haven't noted down the names of the books and the YouTubers that Tarusha just suggested, you can always rewatch the session because it's going to be available on our YouTube channel. So, yeah, you have the resources with you. Just make sure that you, write it down the next time you rewatch it. So, Tarusha, a lot of times when we talk about the whole Indian system of households, do you think, because we see, like, if we look at our moms, most of them are housewives because that is how it was in their time. That is what they were expected to do.
Yeah.
If we are talking about them, a lot of them are going to have a lot of money management sense better than our fathers, actually, because they would be
Yeah.
managing all the household expenses.
Right.
I see women trying to explore the crypto space, trying to explore the financial space where they could invest and make money, but they are somehow not able to utilize this potential. So, how would you suggest that they utilize this whole potential and how can it benefit them? Like, how is that a good thing for them to do?
Okay, so I think women over the years, they've learned how to be a little sly with their budgets and managed to save some extra bucks and keep it like for a rainy day. Considering you're already doing that, my 2 cents would be perhaps take out like a very small amount from that monthly saving that you're doing on a rainy day for the rainy day, and perhaps explore platforms, be it buying gold or silver, or be it buying, because now that is digitally available as well. So it's very easy, right? If you're not able to step out of your house, even then you can perhaps make that small investment. Now platforms allow you to start investing with a very small amount. So not, and look beyond the usual gold and silver. Look at crypto, but do your own research. Look at perhaps the OG tokens that are available. Look at a Bitcoin. Look at an Ethereum. Look at the proof of concept that has been created by projects before investing in their tokens. So check the backers out. We usually, my advice would be that if you are not somebody who understands the market very well, do not try to become a trader, because that's like trying to become a trader of equities, right? So I would rather that you have diamond hands. Perhaps you put the investment and forget about it, like investing in a blue chip stock. But I think you owe it to yourself to do it, instead of just saving that money for a rainy day. I feel that women today have like PAN cards and Aadhaar cards, which they can utilize to do the KYC on exchanges like yours and other platforms, where they can start making investments with the smallest amount. Do your own research. But if you are just starting off, I would highly recommend that you start with the OG tokens. You start with, as I said, Bitcoin, Ethereum. These are tokens that have been around for a while, and they will be around for a while because there are so many people that are building on it. So stick to that rather than giving into or getting, feeling FOMO and investing, your hard saved money or hard earned money in tokens that might not see the light of another bull market.
I think that's true. That's pretty much true. And I think that would be a whole, what do I term it as? A beginner's guide to how to do things. Yeah, absolutely. That was a great advice. Absolutely. And I think a lot of people who are already trading on our platform or using our platform know the fact that we have this thing called SBP, which is systematic buying plan. So usually users can just, maybe add like 5,000 bucks a month, or let's say 4,000 bucks a month, and they can just, set it for like 1,000 a week, and that 1,000 would be transferred from your wallet to your whatever crypto asset you would choose to invest in, and it would just go like that, and you don't even have to worry about it. I mean, I think that's the best feature that Unocoin ever introduced, and Unocoin was the first to introduce one such feature. So guys, if you're like new to it and you don't want to trade really, so of course I would feel that SBP is the best option for you, but do your own research.
Yeah,
That's it.
do your own research, but I do think that more power to Unocoin for launching something that makes crypto investment even more simple, and you don't have to use your head so much. At times, there is a example that I had read in a book. There is a gate. We have an alligator brain as well as the analytical brain. So the decisions, the products that succeed are the ones that are letting you use the gator brain, which is like not really trying to analyze or choose too much. And this, I think, works like that because it's already very simple, right? It's a one-click sort of an investment that you're making into your future.
So I think absolutely. So here we have another question from Sachin. It seems Sachin has come with a buckload of questions looking at our AMA post today. Okay,
Right.
so next question by Sachin is: how many pattern to invest in crypto did in future have compound effect? Like, oh, okay. So what he needs to ask over here is that are there like different patterns to invest in crypto, and do they have effect like compound interest, like in mutual funds?
Absolutely. I think, what Shambhavi was just talking about, I think you should definitely check out Unocoin's feature, which lets you invest, in, it's important to be consistent, I think, in any kind of investment, because that's the only way that it'll compound. You don't see any results for a little bit of time, and then all of a sudden it kind of does a 10x, because that is the magic of compound interest. And it will only come into play when you're being consistent. And this product by Unocoin that lets you invest, it's called SBP, right? Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to get it wrong. So, and I'm horrible with short forms, so forgive me. But so SBP, I think, would really help people, invest at a consistent amount at a periodic, at a certain period level, and then that means that you would be able to compound your money. I think that is the best way. And even if you are using some other platform and you are still not lucky enough to have an account on Unocoin, I would recommend that you do. But in the meantime, if you are starting off, then consistency is key. I think just remember that the amount doesn't matter. I really hate financial gurus who go like, okay, you have to make X amount of money, so you need to start with Y. That's bullshit. You start with the smallest amount, whatever you can, and that is okay. You build towards it. Nobody is saying your income will remain consistent, right? And nobody is saying that what you're investing is going to remain consistent. It's good to plot it out and chart it out, but it's also very important that you start. So just start today. Start with a small amount, just be consistent and see your money compound.
Yeah, I think being consistent is one of the most important things we have to do with anything and everything, investments, but also with staying updated. So, Tarusha, what do you think? What are things we should keep a track of to, just know about the market and, just keep an update on, yeah, maybe when to invest more or less?
Okay, so I think एक तो वो है कि सुनो सबकी करो अपनी, like I think that is important in every aspect of life, also investment, I think, because it's easier to live with decisions that you've made consciously, like the consequences of those decisions. It's easier to live with them rather than, because then you don't have somebody to blame. Otherwise you'll be blaming XYZ people if things go wrong, and hopefully things will not go wrong. Go with a positive outlook there. But having said that, I think that there are a lot of influences in this space, which I used to say that, okay, there are good influences as well. But what happens is that influencers at times have a conflict of interest, right? They're getting paid to perhaps shill a token or a coin or a feature or a platform. So I won't say like listen to like influencers. I would say keep an eye on them, listen to what they're saying. It'll help you with the trends that are coming in the space. But I would recommend following the builders and people who are actually building in this space, or people who have built in this space and who have done really well. What are they more excited about? Obviously, they will not shill you any platform or a token, but they will shill you perhaps the technology. They will, bore you with their nerdiness. That, okay, this is what I'm excited about. And then that is what you should be looking at, because then that is a technology that is perhaps about to boom. That is like products that are building in that space, which are about to see a boom. So I would say that get your news from relevant sources, not just influencers. Do not follow influencers. Just keep an eye on them to keep an eye out on trends. But to actually spot a real trend, I would say that you look at the builders, you follow the builders, the authors, and the news people who are actually reporting facts and who are being honest. So if like a builder is being all nerdy and geeking out about a technology, they're being honest, right? So then they actually believe in it. So then at that point, with that information already in your quiver, you can do your own research and see where you want to perhaps invest. But right now, because of the internet, I do feel that it can get really overwhelming very quickly. So it would be better if you perhaps only explore newer sources once in a month, or once, but like last weekend of the month can be for newer sources. And for the 1 month that, that is already going on, you stick to the ones that are already there. You make a list of 5-10 people and you just follow them, rather than trying to get your information from thousands of sources and getting confused and not executing, because ultimately execution is key.
Execution is the key, 100%. And sometimes we are just too skeptical about our investment, about our money, because us Indians, we work very hard and we just want to keep our money close to our heart, and we don't want to just let it go, even as an investment. And that's the mentality that needs to change, because that is what is going to like you said, making the money work. That is the strategy to make your money work. And if you're just gonna close it whole to your heart, like
it's not going to earn anything. So you need to like look at the example of how I don't know, like even something as simple as bread, right? It used to be for 10 rupees when we were kids, and this whole packet of bread, and now it's like 45-50 bucks. And this is like, I'm talking about the lower end, not even the multi-grain and the fancy organic bread that we get. So I'm not even talking about that. So that kind of shows you that the power of that 10 rupees has reduced so much, and your purchasing power is getting reduced because the money is losing its power because of inflation. So you owe it to yourself to actually invest this money so that you can grow it, because the money remains the same, but because of these investments, it at least grows to a certain degree, and you are not losing out to your hard-earned money because of just inflation. So you can't keep it all at home and hope that, okay, I have 10,000 rupees today and it'll have the same purchasing power 10 years from now. That's not going to happen.
True that. And I think this is something I understood very recently in one of our AMAs with our co-founder Sunny, where he was explaining the whole concept of inflation and how the price of our goods and things increase, and we are just getting the same amount of money in our pockets, but what we have to spend is just increasing. And that was the time I was like awestruck, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is so wrong. And this is basically a discussion around Bitcoin and its fixed supply and how its demand, that just entire supply and demand effects you were talking about. And I think this is something that everyone needs to explore, given that this is an essential factor of any economy, the characteristics of money. So that is why I think it's more and more important for you to learn about this space. Next up, we have another question from Sachin again, Tarusha.
He's our favorite listener.
True, 100%. So, Sachin here is asking, Bitcoin is the market leader of all altcoin follow Bitcoin. Can we see future Ethereum market, future Ethereum to be the market leader?
Okay. Again, like I don't like predicting the future because I am very bad at it. But having said that, I do think that if I had to absolutely put my faith in two tokens, it would be Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin is seeing, obviously now there are new things coming in with ordinals, and there are people who like ordinals, some people hate it and are against it. But I do think that Bitcoin is the OG store of value, and with Ethereum, because it's programmable blockchain and there are so many chains, I think almost every other chain in the space is actually just a copy paste of Ethereum, right? So I do think that Ethereum it's not going to go anywhere, not anytime soon. And I do think that they are both equally important, like Bitcoin as a store of value and Ethereum as a programmable base where so many applications and so many kinds of use cases can be deployed.
I think true, because as I recall in one of our conversations, Sunny lives in Canada, and all of our users know how excited he is about Bitcoin all the time. So he kind of, had this thing when he kind of met, I think, Vitalik and everyone else over there in the Ethereum founders community. And he described how Vitalik wanted it to be all about, Bitcoin is going to be a currency, and he wanted Ethereum to be everything else that Bitcoin is not empowering, like smart contracts, like blockchain technologies, like layered solutions and everything else. And I
Yeah.
think it's fascinating how these things are not even coexisting, but their importance together is very important. If I am to phrase it like that.
One cannot be without the other, right? Bitcoin started all of it, but I don't think right now, we can actually imagine the space without Ethereum, right? Because without the programmable smart contracts, all of us are in business. Shambhavi and I have a job because of Ethereum. So, let's. I do think that most of it actually comes down to, just the technology. I can't play favorites here. I don't believe in being a Bitcoin maximalist or an Ethereum maximalist because I think there's always so much to learn. It's always
Yes.
good to have like a middle view. And there are a lot of good altcoins as well, like that are doing splendidly well because they are solid projects. Ultimately, always remember, be it web 2, be it web 3, be it web 1, everybody is here to create a business. Sabko धंधा बनाना है, you need to make money, and you need to be solving a problem for your end user. If you're able to do that, then you will sustain, you will survive, and not even like survive, you will thrive and grow.
100%. And solving the problem, I think, was the goal behind the creation of cryptocurrencies, and the first
Yeah.
cryptocurrency at that, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And as I look at it, and as I understand more and more about Bitcoin, and of course the cryptocurrencies and the altcoins that followed, I understand why is, not to say anything, of course, against anything that we currently use, but I just feel like why the value is greater, or like, you just understand these things, why the
Yeah.
value is greater, or what you're using currently, the things are more efficient than that, there are better things in the world, basically.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so having said that, Tarusha, what I was wondering, like, I know I've just entered the space and you have been here for quite a long amount of time, and from the time, I would say, not just in crypto, there was a great amount of gender disparity in any field as such. So do you think there's a lot of bro culture in the crypto space, and it just affects a lot of, girl power that might exist?
Um, I don't know about I don't know how to really term this. I think, yes, there is a bro culture. I think that does have, as long as the bro culture is not toxic, anybody can be a bro. So, you are my bro, I'm your bro, and that's fine. I don't, as I said, I really am cautious after all of these years on this planet. I think I've become very cautious of anything that goes on in any extreme, any maximalist, anything going on either end of the spectrum being an extreme. I feel that becomes really toxic very quickly. So I do think that the bro culture becomes toxic, and then that can become like it becomes like a detriment for the women who are trying to enter the space. But having said that, anybody can be a bro. So you are my bro, I'm your bro. Don't let that entire cultural
Yes.
narrative
Like,
to discourage you. Basically, I think you should just I really, at times there are still days when I want to pick up a fight about this, what are women bringing to the space, and when people do not really understand my contribution to the space, or they don't know, and they cannot even imagine that yeah, so it can be very frustrating. But I do feel that over the years I have learned that it's better to let your actions speak rather than your words, right? Go ahead, blaze the trail, do what you want, and then they will come. Like, gender should not even be a part of this conversation about professional growth. I think it's such a stupid thing to be like a part of this conversation. It's very relevant, but I don't think it should be a part of this conversation. I think it should be about skills. It's about what you're doing. But because as I said, mentioned earlier, that the discourse is so low right now, that we need to at least raise it up before we say that, okay, gender does not need to be a part of these conversations. But having said that, I think don't let the bro code or bro culture dissuade you. Do what you need to do, and let your actions do the speaking.
true, 100% agreed with you. So again, there's a question from Sachin. Sachin is having a lot of questions for you.
Yeah.
So Sachin is asking, crypto has future, but people aren't aware about the future,
Hmm.
or they don't have good knowledge in crypto,
Right.
like everyone has about bank.
Right. So, okay, so I can't see a few question here, but nevertheless, the question I will answer would be around awareness. So I think the awareness and making people more aware about crypto is our responsibility. Your responsibility, Shambhavi, my responsibility, by doing shows like these, by talking about crypto, by perhaps de-demonizing crypto, because right now, it comes across as, some people think that it's a Ponzi scheme. It's not, right? It's here to stay. And I want to go out there and talk more about it so that people understand. I think, as I said, you owe it to yourself to understand this new piece of technology. And like, people try to, we don't even understand banks very well. Let's be honest, right? I think, when not everybody reads the fine print about what you're investing in when it comes to banks, and how much insurance you have in case the bank fails and all of that. But that's a whole different story. I think even with crypto, the knowledge is a little less, and I think it falls on the industry holders to really bring that kind of awareness for us to talk about it more. And also on the end user, like, if you really care about your own money, and if you really care about what you want to do with that money, how can you not look at decentralized or like crypto options? How can you not? How can you just stick to a bank? Banks are prone to failing, and there is not even 100% information, insurance coverage. So you owe it to yourself. The user needs to actually feel a little responsibility as well towards themselves, and do the right thing by learning about crypto.
I think true that, and I would also like to add to that a little bit, because my mom used to tell me these stories about when bank newly came into the entire space, and they started storing their gold with the bank lockers and everything. It was a lot of skepticism that revolved around, and a
Yeah.
lot of times, I think initially this thing started happening. If you look at the history of how this money storage system came into place in India, people initially started storing their money with postal companies. I think the Indian postage system.
Yeah.
So that's when it started, and people didn't even want to do that because for them it wasn't easy to trust anyone else with their money. And I think that thing is still somewhere, still there inside. It took us a long time to understand the banks, and like you said, we still don't really understand the banks completely.
Yeah.
But at least we have grown to an extent where we are, using UPI, we are storing our money in banks, and we are just like, chill, like, okay, our money's there. That thing will come in crypto, but I'm sure it's gonna take like another couple of decades for India itself to have that. But once it is there, I think everyone's just going to see the benefits and the perks of doing the same thing, and of course, we talk about how volatility of Bitcoin has been coming to, talking about the time it was released, and now looking at the volatility, we see how it is reduced and how it's like on a way to stabilization. Of course, nobody can ensure a stability because it's like a total demand and supply structure. But of course, we see improvements in terms of people believing in it. So I think, Sachin, you are an early bird to this, and
Yes.
of course, just taken advantage of this. And to all the other people who are watching this AMA today, guys, if you're watching this, just consider yourself lucky to be an early bird to know about all these things. I think a lot of people in our country are still struggling to even know the term crypto or Bitcoin, because for them it's like Tarusha just said, it's like a Ponzi scheme or a scam. It's not. So, of course, do your own research, find your own facts, believe in your own facts, and then take decisions for yourself. Tarusha, I think we're running a bit out of time, and it was a great session today with you. We got to know so many new, interesting things, and I really thank you for being here with us today. And thank you, everyone, for joining in. And this is Tarusha for you. We'll be signing off. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shambhavi.